Good afternoon, fam. Good afternoon, and welcome back. The topic for today is 5 reasons why you should have life insurance for your children, and not your children as a rider on your policy, which most people do, but your children having their own separate policy. But before we get started, I want to briefly introduce myself. My name is Maxwell Akinsenhiwer, and I am the CEO of Titan Evolution Group. So listen, we're gonna go through this real quick, right? So let's get started. The number one reason why I believe that your children should have their own separate policy and why you should get them started early is cost. It is super inexpensive, super cheap, right? To get your children a massive insurance amount at a lower cost, right? So I ran a few numbers just for some comparison, right? And I ran a 5-year-old male, right? I ran $1 million policy, right? And that came out to $295 a month. And this is an IUL, by the way, okay? Most children can only have, or all children can only have permanent policies, okay? Outside of them being a rider, all right? So for a 5-year-old, it's $295 a month for a $1 million policy, right? But for a 35-year-old, for the same policy, 1 million, it comes out to $1,350 a month. So there is a significant difference in reference to cost by getting your children started so much more earlier, right? The number two reason why I believe that your children should have their own policy is something called living benefits. Living benefits. And I preach on this a lot, right? So, what is living benefits? Living benefits covers you in the event you are terminally ill, chronically ill, or critically ill. So let me give you the definition of what that means real quick. Terminal means you go to the doctor and they say you have 12 months to live. That's terminal. Chronic pretty much means if you are unable to perform 2 out of 6 of the daily living activity, which is bathing yourself, clothing yourself, feeding yourself, using the bathroom by yourself, things like that, okay? That's chronic. Critical covers things like cancer, heart attack, stroke, dementia, renal failure, and the list goes on and on, right? Now, why is this important? Because a lot of people, for some reason, don't believe in having life insurance on their children, right? Right? So let me go over some data with you guys, right? And this is where having a life insurance policy with living benefits makes massive sense. Now, in America, right, every single year there's about 15,780 children from birth to age 19 who are diagnosed with cancer. That's 1 in every 285 children. Okay? It gets worse. In America, every single year, 352,000 Americans under the age of 20 are diagnosed with diabetes. Okay? Now, why is this important? Let me show you guys something here. This is the benefit of living benefits, right? And everybody should have a policy that have living benefits. If you don't have one, or if you're not sure what you have, please inbox me. We can sit down and do a review of what you have, right? So let's use critical illness, for example, which covers cancer, okay? Let's say your child had a $1 million policy and that child is diagnosed with cancer. With living benefits, especially with one of my favorite providers, right? You have access to 95% of this money if you were diagnosed with cancer. That's $950,000 cash, tax free, if you were diagnosed with cancer, that you can trigger your critical illness side of your policy. Why is this important? Can we agree with $950,000, your child can probably get the best care and treatment? I think so, right? Okay. Also, it would now allow mom or dad or both to be able to stay home from work and not lose income and take care of the child. Okay, because they're able to get $950,000 from the policy. The average income right now in America is about 67,000, give or take, depending on where you are. So the family can still pay mortgage, car note, electricity bill, groceries, and things like that, right? While staying home to tend to the child. That's the importance of living benefits. So that's number 2. Number 3, which I know we all hear about it, even for us, get started early, right? Is number 3 is early investment. Okay? There's a part of your policy that's called cash value. The premium you make every month, a portion that goes into that cash value, okay, that's earning you interest anywhere between 6 to 12%, depending on the company, right? So the earlier you get your child started, the more money that child, is going to ultimately have. And what I did was, let me give you guys an example of what I did. So I ran some numbers showing that child investing in this same policy, right? For $295 a month, right? By the time that child is 30 years old, that child will have $104,000 in their cash. That's because they got started early. By the time they're 50, that child will have $381,000. And mind you, this is if they're only doing that $295 and they never increase, how much they're contributing, right? By the time they're 50 years old, that'll be $381,000. By the time that child is 65 years old, that child is a millionaire, 1.1 million. Okay, so this is the benefit of getting them started early. Number 4, which I know a lot of parents are concerned about, right? Number 4, okay, is college savings. Okay, college savings. Because a lot of people right now are in college debt. Okay, so the earlier you get that child started, the better it is. Now, also, it's a secret right here I want to share with you guys. Because the income or the money, you have inside the life insurance policy, okay, does not have to be reported on the FAFSA form when you are filling out for grants and scholarship for that child, which now allows that child to get as much as possible as they can without you using your money. Compared to if you have the regular state plan, you have to disclose how much you have for that plan, and then they will deduct the difference and grant the child scholarship or grants based on how much you have saved for the state plan. In this scenario, you could have $200,000 in this policy and you don't have to disclose it. Okay, that's a tip for you guys. All right, and then last but not least, I'm gonna close out with this. What you have done for your child by getting them started early is now you not only created future money for your child, you've now also put in place wealth transfer for your grandkids and great grandkids. Okay, so what do I mean? So let's say your child lives to the age of 90. Okay, now mind you, at 65, that child had $1 million in that policy. So they're 65 years old, they're retired now, and they start to draw that money out for income, right? And let's say they pass away at the age of 90, okay? After withdrawing and exhausting that $1 million and they pass away at 90, guys, look at this. So number 5, I'm sorry, is wealth transfer. Okay? So look at this. The child passed away at 90. $4 million transferred to their children and grandkids. This is after withdrawing $1 million to live off of. $4 million transfer to that family. Now, also, let me share this with you guys, right? Total contribution into this policy, was about $300,000 from the age of 5, okay, till let's say the age of 80, I believe. Total contribution was $300K. Okay? And then you withdraw $1 million to live. Okay? You pass away at 90 years old, and you still transfer $4 million to your family. Now, would you say that you've done a great thing for your child in this scenario? I think the answer will be yes. So these are my 5 reasons why you should have life insurance for your children. Now, I know this took a little bit longer than we expected, but I wanted to give you guys a breakdown as to the benefit of these indexed universal life policy for your children, not only for you. All right, I hope this helps somebody out there. Guys, talk to you soon. Again, if you have any question, please inbox me. Also, go to my website, which is TitanEvolutionGroup.com, and I hope to talk to you guys soon. Have a good one.